Hello everyone, so in this video I'm going to show you how to create a password reset in PHP. Alright, so let's get started. So as you can see, I have a folder right here, which is called reset password with nothing in there yet. So we're gonna start from scratch. So let's start by creating an index.php file. So this file it's like the home page, but like the usual index.php file, but in this tutorial it will serve as the login page that we will visit again and again. All right, so to start, we need to put something in there. The first thing first, we'll just do some HTML. So for example, just go to Bootstrap starter to get a starter template. Yeah, we have a starter template here. We'll just copy that and pass it in our page. Right, so instead this, we're gonna change the title to reset password tutorial. Alright, so that's what we want. So the next thing we want is to have a navigation. Well, the navigation not really important, you don't have to do that, but in this case just go ahead and do it quickly. So we're gonna go to component, and we got navigation. Right here, just grab a simple one. Yeah, for example, no, not this one. Or is nav bar in fact. So I'm just go ahead and grab the symbol. Alright, this one. Let's go back and see nav bar here, and I'm gonna pass it in. I'm just gonna ZTC. We go back and we refresh. We're gonna have a page with navbar and then the hello world right there. So the next thing we want to do is to add a login form. Right, so we're gonna delete this one. No, just leave it. Just deleted it. Alright, and so we start. Right here we have a login form. So what I'm gonna do is just say container. Yep, and then we're gonna have a h1 called reset password tutorial. Alright, and we have a form. We call it index.php method post. Alright, we're gonna have several inputs. So we got input text. Here we want with the name email, and then placeholder email. Okay, and we want a class is form control. Form control. This is the Bootstrap class. Want to do that similarly with password. Well, this you can change to password, but I just want to see what I type in. So for the tutorial purpose, so I'm gonna leave it there as text, right? And it's password. Right, the third one we want to have submit, and the name, we're gonna say something like so what just say submit, and not placeholder, but it's called value. We're gonna say something like login in form control, but before that we want it to have a like a button, a btn success. All right, now let's just refresh the page. All right, we have something like this. Now we want to add some margin between the boxes, and we want to add a reset password link here. All right, so we'll do something like it's more something like reset password, and we leave the link for this, and we say something like forgets password. All right, so the name of the link here, we will create a file called check email later. All right, for the purpose to check if the email is already registered or the user didn't even register for an account yet. Okay, to give some margin, then we'll just go ahead and do something like empty2 margin top 2 margin top 2. All right, see how it's go. Refresh. So look fine right now. Okay, now so that's it for the reset password tutorial, or the form of it, just the form. Well, the next thing we want to do is now we need to prepare some database, because right now, for example, if I click login, we got an email password, and click login, then what, right? So we want to set up some database. Okay, so have a look at the database, right now. So if you look at the tutorial database, I have two tables. One is the user, and one is the reset. All right, table. So for the user table, I already inserted one sample user. All right, so the password actually right now is 456. All right, and an email and password. So you're gonna have to go ahead and create your own user table. Structure is pretty simple. It's just ID, name, email, and password. We care more about the email and the password because they are the credentials that we're going to use to log in. Also for the resets, we're going to have the structure is very simple. We just got ID, email, and code, three of them. So this is the ID, and we got an email, and we got a code. We want to send a logic later. What do I mean by code? As we get we dig more into the tutorial, but for now we care more about a user. We want to log in successfully first, all right, before doing anything else. All right, so let's open again. The next thing we want to do is to create a database. All right, because if we are to log in, we need a database. So let's create a database PHP. Now I want to save time. I'm going to go ahead and copy the database link like this. All right, so the basic is nothing special. It's just some quick credentials to log in. The database table is tutorial, localhost root, no password. That's it. We're gonna use PDO in this tutorial. So PDO is what we want. You can, if it's successful, you can do successfully connected to the database, something like this, or just leave it there. All right, that's pretty much for the database. Let's go ahead and include the database in our index. So that's it. So we could have require database.php. All right, that's it. So if you refresh it and it doesn't show any error, that means it actually successfully connected. Else because I didn't really use the echo successfully connected, but we know that it's successfully connected because no error report. All right, the next thing we want to do is to log in. Right, we want to log in, so I'm gonna make it quick. So when if is set, So we're gonna check if the user submit the post submit. All right, always change it to login. It's pretty easy to remember. So if users click login, so what we're gonna do is that we're gonna take the email and password as submitted from the user, right? That's the first thing. Next, we're gonna check. This is a very normal, conventional way to check if the user exists. All right, so we're gonna start by retrieve info from the database. So start by saying something like query PDO prepare excuse me. So that is the prepare, and then we select all from user where email. All right, something like that, and then we're gonna execute query, execute email. All right, then what we want, and then we're gonna fetch the user query, and we're gonna fetch the information from the user. Fetch. Right, all good, yeah. And then the next thing we want to do is to compare the email and password, and compare input with a database. So if password verify, so we got pass verify the password, enter, and user password. All right, so if the inputted password similar to the user password, well, all right, we're going to do something here, but I actually wanted to print out the user for you to see. Print r. I just want to print out what we have in the user so that you can see kind of better idea of it. So if I just say something like this, well, we probably have to go ahead. It's not ready to view yet. So okay. Something like this. Yes, if I put this email and then click login, you will see that it will retrieve from the database. We have email, we have password, and that's it. All right, so that's the thing. That's indicator we are on the right track. So we're gonna compare if the inputted password is actually equal with the match the user password, then want to it is successfully login. All right, successfully login. All right, something like that. Now, if successfully login, what do we want to do? In this case, I'll just go ahead and do something like home.php. If the user successfully login, we want to direct them to the home page. All right, we don't have a home page yet, so we're gonna have to create one. Okay, so we can go ahead and say home.php. Right, so for the home, we can copy everything and pass in the home. but of course we don't need the PHP here. All right, so we can change title to home page. All right, and we can just delete everything here. We can just say welcome to your home page. All right, so we can just say text center and text success. Right, as long as we supply the right email and password. In this case, the password is 456. All right, I'm ready to register for that. You have to do it yourself. All right, so welcome to your home page. That means what I input is correct. All right, but the whole purpose today is not to do the login. We want to reset password. All right, so but this is the first step. Later on, we can use this to check if we have successfully changed the password. All right, so the next thing I want to do is to click on the, for example, if I forget this one, I forget the password, what's next? If I click on the forget password, it will say object not found. If you look at the URL, we say check email, which is the file that we put in our coding, but we did not create a file yet. So we're gonna go ahead and go to check email.php. all right, just to remind, the check email is where we put it right here in the form. So the link to the forget password is check email. All right, so we don't, this is what you can use whatever name you like. In this case we use check email. All right, so let's go back and do the check email. So what do we want to do in the check email? What does it mean by check an email? It means that we want to check if the username, if the email actually exists in the database. All right, that's the first thing we want to check. And then we want to send a link to the email account that the user input. All right, so that they can click on the link and it will direct them to a page to set up a new password. That's what we want. So this page is very important. It's very important. It's check email. All right, so let's go ahead and to copy. What do we copy? We copy everything from this one, put in check email. So right here we probably don't need the login form, which is check email form. And the check email form is very simple. Please input your email for password reset, something like that. So we don't want it indexed, but check email.php. all right, we don't need anything except for the email. All right, we don't even need forget password. So the name here is not login. The name here is just to say check email. The value is send reset link. Let's just say send link for the name as well. All right, so next thing, what's next? Now just to go and refresh to check email first. Email for password reset and reset link. Yeah, looks in fine. Now this is the front end. We're gonna go ahead and work with the back end, which is the PHP stuff. All right, so this one look too big, so make it a3. All right, and I don't want this to be a BTN success. I want this to be warning, something like this. So we can differentiate it better, something like this. All right, so now let's get on the work the back end. So if it set send link. All right, so we want to get the email. Okay, we want to get an email, and then we want to check if it exists in the database. All right, check if email actually exists in the database. So my email is used. Well, we just want to check if the row, how many row return. All right, we don't even need to fetch the user. So we're gonna do something like row count. All right, we don't need to retrieve the user. All right, something like that. And then we're gonna check how many record return. So if row equal to 1, that means there's one record return. All right, we probably would delete this one. Okay, one, that means the email already exists in the database. All right, we will continue what we are doing. So the next thing we want to do is to generate a code and then the link to send through email. So let's talk a little bit about the code. Why do we need a code? What is the code for? So generate a code, that's something like if we generate a code and then we put it in a table and then reset table, and then if the user click on the link and the link will appear somewhere above here, and it will have the email value and then the code value. If the code is identical with the code that we generated, then we let the user proceed with the reset password. If the code are different, then we will refuse to let them continue the process. All right, so the logic is very simple. Now let's get back with what we are doing. To generate the code, basically you can use any type of code generator that you can think of, but in this tutorial I'm going to use an available one. So I'll create something like, we will have a code and then generate random string. Alright, so this is not an inherent function of PHP. This is the one that we have to create this function to use. So we create somewhere. We create a function file, PHP, something like that, and we have PHP, and then we will create the function. But because this is not the focus of this tutorial, so I'm going to copy what I already have. Feel free to use whatever you have, or just to Google it and find which one suits you best. So in this case, I have a function here that I generate the code with a length of 5 from these character. All right, it's all capitalized. Yes. All right, so this is a tutorial, so you can use it around. All right, now let's go back to the check database. What we need to do also here to include or require whatever, include the function file. All right, function PHP file. I see I have some typo here. It would be function. All right, and that's it. So the function will generate a code. That's what we want. Okay, yeah. Next thing we want to do is to create a link. All right, so in other words, we need a link to send to the user. We call it formula link. Let's start with one link. What is a link? We will have something like Just to be simple, I will split the link into two parts. The first part is to formulate the link only, and the other one is more colorful and a more complete one. So we focus on the href attribute here. Okay, so because we're gonna do with the local host, so we're gonna copy this one, local host. But in real life, when we do with the real website, then we're gonna use the real website link here. But in this case, we're gonna do this. All right, and then the next thing is that email. We're gonna do email, and then equal email equal to email, and then we will continue, and code equal to code. Okay, okay, so that's the first link that we have. All right, we can check the link if it is what we want by echo link. See how it's go. Okay, for example, I'll put this one. It will have link. We'll see that we have a link generate here. The important is the attribute we want, this one, and the code, this one. All right, so far it looks all right. So far it looks all right to me. Now let's get back to what we're doing. The second link is a link that we will send to the user. Basically the same, but it's just more something more with some style with the link. All right, so we're gonna have something like a and a again. We're going to have a span. Span as well. Oh, this is just the SP. No, this is just the styling stuff. So we have the style width. Alright, we're gonna have width. Alright, we make this single quote. Percent. Here we have style as well. Padding 10%, 100%. No, it's not 100 pixel, 100%. Border, even border radius. The basic idea is to generate a burden-like link. That's what we want. 30 pixel in a background. But you don't have to do this. You can just generate a very normal link. This is like to create a background 8 AE DBC. Alright, and then we can just concatenate our link in. Link. Alright, and here we're going to link something like this. Alright, let's echo the second link. to let's so see we'll have a button with a link. Click on that, it will generate a link like this. So far looks so good. So what we want, these are the attributes that we'll get it later to determine if the user had correctly click on the link and have access to the email. Now let's just go back. Now delete this one. The next thing we want to do is to check. All right, the next thing we want to do is we want to save the code in the database. All right, that's what we want. So we're going to retrieve data from the reset table. All right. From the reset table. Well, the reason we want to retrieve some data from the reset table is that we want to see if the code the user has already requested for the code. If they continue to click on the link, and it will continue to generate the new code, right? We just want to update rather than just keep inserting to the database, for example. So we want to retrieve the database from the reset table. So again, we do something like query reset. All right, and PDO prepare select all from reset where email. Okay, that one. All right, the next thing, continue to where reset, and then we want to execute, and then we're going to do email. Now we do from reset. We're gonna fetch. If any record exists. Query reset and fetch. Now this is the time that we check if empty from reset. That means the user has not requested any but this is the first time that they requested the reset password link. So if empty, then what we're going to do is to save the code, save the info in the reset table. All right, we can do that by just say query insert reset, and by doing PDO and prepare insert into reset. What do we insert? We will insert the email and code. Email and code values. All right, two value, something like this. and then we're going to execute query insert reset execute email code. All right, if the user already requested and there is already the new code, no, there's already the code in the table, we don't want to keep inserting into the table. We just want to update the table with the new code that has been generated, right? So we can just copy this one, like something like this, but instead of saying insert, we're going to say update, update reset, and we're going to set code where email equal to a value. All right, so this way we're going to execute code and then email. The reverse, this is the reverse of the above. It's called an email. All right, so far seems fine. Let's see if we do this and we check the database if the new code is updated in the database, right? So for example, let's go back here, send reset link. Let's not think, let's go back, reset. So we got the current code is M1 DB1. If we continue to do it, accordingly it should update rather than inserting new records. So I click and I'll go check and refresh. We'll see that the code has been updated, but there's no new record generated. That's what we want, you know, for the sake of simplicity. All right, so everything seems fine so far. Now I think we can go ahead and send the user link. So what we want is that we can send an email with the link. Now we have to follow it, formulate and send email. Now we can just do something like from zerotocoding gmail.com. You know, you can use any email that you have. All right, it's just two is to the user that way. To the email that we are working with. For the subject, reset password from, well, you can GTC. All right, so we had the subject, and next thing we want to create is a message. Okay, and just do something like this. We can have something like we have a, well, I'll just go ahead and just to save time, just go ahead and just copy what I already prepared, and you should do it yourself. So you see that we have something like, dear, please click on this link to reset your password, and we insert our link, which is link 2, bad wishes, and you know, whatever. All right, so we got that one. Also we need to set the set the content type. That is because we are using HTML, so you gotta do this to make sure that it displayed properly in your email. It's very important. All right, and what we then need to do is to use the mail function. All right, so we got two. No. We have two, and then subject, and then message, and then header. All right, is what we want. Finally, we can just notify the user that user successful sending email. All right, so we can do something like msg and h4 for here, and please check your email. We can write check your email including spam to see the password reset link. Normally if we send through PHP, it easily goes straight into the spam, so including spam. So we some style for the notification, like simple one, text success. Right, looks alright. And then we got else here is mean that if the row not equal to 1, that means it is 0 or less than 1, for example. Then we're gonna do, that means there's no email in the system such as the user entered. So what we want to do is to just throw out an error. All right, throw an error, say something like email does not exist. All right, okay, that's pretty much. Let's see. All right, so here we want to output our error and message, right? So we're gonna do this called message and error. This is a form. All right, so we can do something like if message, if he said. All right, so we're gonna have echo msg and just copy and paste error, and we got error. All right, so let's go back and have a look at the error. If you want to say something like h4, but this time the class would be tech danger because it's an error. No, because I already used the double quote outside, so I'm going to use a single quote inside. All right, so let's see what else do we need. Send link, post. Looks like we are ready to test our system. Right, now let's just go back and enter the email that we have. Link, please check your email including spam link. Now let's just go and log in our email. You see there's nothing here. Just go to the spam. We see in our spam there's one email. It is something like this. It's me because I use the same email to send and to receive. So I see there's a link here as we have already do. We click on that one, and it turned out something like this. So we have to successfully send the email. All right, and also in our URL we can see some credential here and in the code. All right, but again it turned out to be this page, and we don't want this page. We want it to direct it to a different page, the page that we can actually reset the password. All right, so we're gonna go back and create the file as well as modify the name of the file here. So if we go back here, we'll create a file called reset password, okay, .php, and we're gonna go back to the check email toward the link that we formulate. Instead of saying check email, we're gonna reset password. Okay, so that seem good now. Now let's open our reset password. They're not in here yet. All right, so we want to now we will start with the PHP file first. So imagine that we got the page right here, but this is not email, but this is reset password. If you click enter, there's nothing happening yet because there's nothing in the file yet. All right, so the logic like this: we want to get the credential here, right? We want to check in the database if it match. If the code matches, if the email matches, and if it match, will allow the user to proceed with the password reset. All right, that's what we want. Now we will open our file, okay, and we will start working on it by require the database first, because we'll have a lot of retrieve and then insert in the database. Not a lot, but some of them. Database.php. We need a session as well. Session start. You will see why later, but we need session for this. Now the first thing we want to do is to reset. What I want to do is to get the email. Now if it said get an email and it said yes get code, yes, email and code, that's what we want. Then we can let's go ahead and set session. Now because we will use the email here and there, so we want the session to store in the session rather than just a variable, because we want to use it at different place. So get email right here. All right, for the code we can just go ahead and do code equal to get code. All right, that's pretty much. Now the next step is to check against the database, the reset table. So what I want to do is check credential from the URL against the reset table. Again, that in the reset table. Now what I'm going to do is just do the query and the same thing, PDO prepare select everything, everything from recess. Okay, where email equal a value, and then we're gonna do to execute. You can do the email or just go ahead and do this session because we already stored it in session, so we can just go ahead and do that. Now from reset, we're gonna store it into the from reset variable, and we do query and then fetch. All right, so in our time we for us to compare, if code, if the code that from the credential from the URL unequal to from reset code, the code that we from reset, right? Then what we want to do is to set an expire variable. Obviously not actually expire, but whatever, I'm just using the as a name. So we can just say something like, sorry, your link is invalid or had expire. Although we didn't do anything so-called expire in this tutorial video, but if you want, you can actually do that. But I'm not going to do it in this video, but it's an option that you can do. All right, so now let's go ahead and then work with the front end here. We want to create a form, right? We want to create a form that if the code is correct, right, then we're gonna go ahead and let the user register, reset their password. Now we just grab some HTML from the index and put it in the reset. Let's close this one. Reset password here. Okay. This one. So the not login form is reset form. And this one here, you can do something like reset your password. Alright, so what we want to do is to we do an if to check if the code is correct. So we don't actually check if the code is correct, but what we can do is to check if set expire. That means the code doesn't match. All right. Now we want to do the negative if it isn't expired. Okay, so that means the code match. All right, but we also want to add and is set. Now I'll just leave it for now. Now if the code isn't expire, then we can go ahead and echo a form. What this form does is that it allows the user to enter the reset password. So I'll just, to save time, I'm just go ahead and copy and paste. So I'll introduce a little bit about the form. We got a reset password, which is the current page. Please enter your new password. All right, and then the input a text one, no, the type is text. You can actually use password, but for the purpose of this tutorial, I only use text so that we can see what we have. The name I have pass1, pass2, or password 1, password 2. Use password and repeat your password. Is all required fields. Finally, I got a submit button with the name called reset. All right, and is it the value called reset password? All right, all good. All right, again, if it isn't expired, no, yes, that means it match the code. It match. All right, because if it doesn't match, then the expire will be we will have the expire right here, right? So if it isn't all right, so if it isn't set, that means it is matched. Then we're gonna echo this one. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna refresh. So we see that it's matched, so this one appear and the expire variable is not set. All right, it's not set, that means it's correct. So well, this seems to be a little bit of repetitive, so I'm going to just go ahead and reset password tutorial. All right, something like that. Now then we can just enter the new password and then we click reset. All right, but what happened when we click reset, because we didn't really code any activities if the user click reset. The whole point is that if they enter the new password and then click reset, we want to update the current password in the database. All right, so that's what we're gonna do. So the next thing we're gonna do is but before that I want to show you something. If I delete this one and we click here, it still appears this form, so we don't want that. All right, what if the user just delete the credential and I click on this, it would still appear, the form will still appear. All right, so what we want to do is just to do something like, if it isn't expire and the code, some sort of code must be in the end reset get quote get code. All right, so this is just a quick example. You can just think of another condition that makes sure that the user doesn't just get to this form easily. If I do this again, it will disappear because there's no credential here as I want. All right, so it's this is just one easy way to do that. Let's go back. All right, so now we have this. And then we're gonna start to do another coding. Reset password. This is the main part. So we're gonna use if post reset. That means if you use a click reset, right? Now what we want to do is to get the pass1 and pass2. Pass1 post 1 and one pass2. Yep, that pass1 and pass2. All right, and now we will just go ahead and compare. This pass2 is confirm a pass1, so we just do the simple check if pass1 equal pass2. Because this is a simple tutorial, there will be no validation in terms of like the length of the password and so on. But you can actually do that yourself. Now, if pass1 equal to pass2, then we're going to do the hash password. All right, we're going to hash the password. All right, we're going to use password hash, as we know we always use pass1, for example, and password default. That's it. Else we're gonna throw an error. Error, that means the password doesn't match. All right, simple. We're gonna do it very simple like that. Now we can just go ahead and update the password. So if empty error, that means there's no error. All right, that means the password is password 1 and password 2 is correct. Then we'll go ahead and do the query. That's the PDO and prepare. What we're going to do is to update. Should update user. We're going to set password equal where email equal. Now again query. We do the execute hash password and then email. Well, actually we need a square bracket here, right? If it is successfully executed, we can just go ahead. Well, this is actually not email. If we need to use the session email, because after we use this one, the email will disappear. There's no code from here, so the page will be refreshed and the email here will disappear. So we have to use the session, which is what we have stored. So we do the session and then we do the email. That will be fine. All right, and we can echo a message, msg, something like successfully updated your password. All right, we can also give out a link for the user. We call the login link. All right, so we do some style, simple style, btn success, and for the link we can just do the login.php. However, in this case, in this tutorial we don't have login because the login page actually index page, but in your project you can name it whatever you like. I'll just add something like this as well. Now if we're done, then we can just destroy the session. That is, we don't want to store the session in the email anymore, and we should destroy it. All right, let's go back and check what we do. So right now the password is 456. All right, if I'm to type 123 and hit 123 and I reset password, and there's nothing. This is because we did not really output the message or the error, right? So we don't know if it is successful or not. So what we can do is just go down here, just echo what we want. All right, so we can do something like if message error, right? So we can set PHP if exists, if ESET MSG, then we're gonna go ahead and to echo MSG. Okay, same thing, if it is error, then we'll go ahead and do the error. Right, that's one way to do it. We can just go, if we can add a little bit of style here. For example, we can say something like P in class a lot. If it's a set, then success. Alright, and around it, P3. This is just the bootstrap class. Alright, and then we can just do this, and then we can just close. Okay, we can just close our P. Right, so the same thing we can use. Can do for the lighter. Danger, and this is error. Okay, yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and put 123 here and click reset, and we'll say we successfully update our password. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and then try to log in. 123, and we successfully log in. So basically it is complete. All right, our system is complete, but I want to remind you something else. For the reset password, just to doesn't have, for the PHP doesn't throw any error unnecessary, instead of saying post reset, we can should add something like ESET post reset, because if it doesn't at this stage yet, it won't throw the error, something like that. All right, so we should add the ESET before the post reset here. All right, if you don't do that, then the first time when you click on the link, it may throw an error like there's no post reset, or there's no variable called reset. All right, it's not appears until the user click on the reset. So to fix the error, just do the ESET post reset here. All right, so that's pretty much for our system. All right, if I just go ahead and for example do something like this, if the current password is 123, right? Good. If I want to forget it, and if I want to do the 789, click on reset link, go back to our email, just refresh. All right, I can see we have a new email here. Click right here, we get 789, and we click reset and log in. Do 789, and we log in. Boom, now we're in. So yes, that's it, guys. So this is a very simple password reset system, but I hope it's helpful, and feel free just to modify it in any way that you think it's more secure, and anyway it's just your project. Anyway, thanks very much for your watching. See you in the next video.